Suzanne, why can't you eat?
Because of the medication the doctor has me on that's supposed to help my throat, which is not,
Oh.
as you can hear, I'm
Not
on this for a month, and
Okay.
so I'm supposed to finish eating early enough, by 6:30 so that I can take the meds before I go to bed. Otherwise, I'm up till midnight.
Oh,
It's just, and it's not making any difference, but we'll see when I see him in a month.
So tonight, what we're doing is primarily a Tu B'Shvat Seder, but we will have the Mishaberach in it, and we will have the Mourner's Kaddish, and the rest of the things will be other kinds of materials. So I'm going to share my screen, and I picked some special things. So this material is with the help of a number of colleagues and to put things together to assist us in this. And I'm always interested in hearing what you think of the different kinds of things. So this is actually a plate that I have here. So I figured as we are gathering together to be able to wish everyone Shabbat Shalom, that your home may be filled with light and warmth and love, was a good way to begin as we celebrate Shabbat and Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is actually next week, Wednesday night and Thursday. We have a different program next Wednesday night about land, Adamah, and values, and it ties into the 30 by 30 program that President Biden has proposed. It very much fits with this environmental piece and some of the Jewish texts. So it's a beautiful, like 8-minute video will be part of the evening. So we're going to begin with Maya Fehayom. As soon as Jason is with us, that's our opening song this evening. So we have a little bit of Shabbat and then move into the rest. So Rabbi Paula Winnick designed this. So you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner of each slide, it has the beautiful thing of Tu B'Shvat in the year and the almond tree. Shkedia's almond tree, and that it will be common throughout, and a few don't have it, but you'll recognize a couple of slides that came over totally from what we had elsewhere. Most of them did not. Okay, if Jason isn't here yet, I'm going to get started with my Hayom. And then, oh, okay, great. All right, I didn't see you here yet. Okay, perfect. So Jason's going to start us with Maya Hayom.
Make sure I'm not too loud or anything. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom.
This piece was written this year for Tu B'Shvat, and it's not exactly my story, of course. It's Rabbi Dara Lithwick's words, but I think much of it will resonate for you. Last year, we gathered together at Shul, snowbanks high outside, warm within, to celebrate the birthday of trees with a Tu B'Shvat Seder, and ate the fruits of the branches, peeling oranges, making apples smiley faces, spitting out the pits of soft, sweet, medjool dates, devouring figs and peaches and pomegranate seeds, and blessed the the beauty bounty, and saying of almond blossoms. A few weeks later, 5 days before everything shut down, our daughter blew out her birthday candles, all 5 of them, to the squeals of delight of families and friends. On International Women's Day and on Erev Purim, we sang out loud, not thinking twice, our voices rising, commingling, harmonizing. This year, we guard our breath behind a mask. No singing together, blowing out candles, couldn't imagine. Every breath a risk. We stay outside as much as possible where the breathing is easier. As the birthday of trees approaches, all I want is to be with the trees, breathing together, where my exaltation is life, a gift. And I inhale fresh, clean air from the maples and firs and pines and spruces and birch and apple trees, offerings of life, symbiosis, hope. Blessed are you, Holy One of Blessing, for Eitzei Chaim, for trees of life. May the Eitzim enjoy protection and love, and may we all heal and breathe life into each other. We continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom umevorach. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom umevorach. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla.
Do I have a volunteer to read the reading before we light the candles together? Whoops, wait a second. Sorry about that. I moved somehow and got all the way back there. We are really here. Do I have a volunteer? You may have to speak up because I can't see everybody.
Tell her.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, very good.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
I invite you to light your Shabbat candles as I light mine, and then we can do the blessings together. Please join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Dennis, if you want to read the English.
There, Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you. From the Babylonian Talmud, Ta'anit, one day Honi the circle drawer was journeying on the road, and he saw a man planting a carob tree. He asked him, "How long does it take for this tree to bear fruit?" The man replied, 70 years. He then further asked him, "Are you certain that you will live another 70 years?" The man replied, "I found already grown carob trees in this world, and as my ancestors planted these for me, so I too plant these for my children." So from this prayer, we continue with the blessing of one another. So when we're as a family, a nuclear family with parents and children, of course, then we would be blessing children. We bless one another. So I invite you to bless each other. You can bless those of you with you at home. You can put your hands out to the sides of your squared with other people to offer, like you're touching hands with them to the side. And we say together, Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you and grant you peace. And we continue with one other blessing, which we say to one another. And I look at us as a congregation being as a family. So this blessing is one we say to each other, those who are with us often on Friday nights, those who are with us only occasionally, anyone who's new, we can say this blessing, all of us together. Harachaman, hu yivarech otanu kulanu yachad, bevirchat shalom, and together in the English, may the merciful one bless all of us together with the blessing of peace. So some people said, I'm not sure what Tu B'Shvat is about. There is a Kabbalistic tradition to Tu B'Shvat with a ceremonial meal, a Seder, as we have a Seder for Passover, it's an order, in which the participants taste the various fruits of the land after making blessings and expressing gratitude for them. It's also customary to eat fruits you haven't tasted before and to say the Shehechianu blessing of gratitude when experiencing something new. It is the custom of some to eat 15 types of fruit on Tu B'Shvat, while others eat of the 7 species to which the land of Israel is blessed. And this is the text where we get the 7 species from. And in case you wondered what they are, I made them different colors. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land with streams and springs and fountains issuing from plain and hill, a land of wheat and barley, of vines, figs and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey. Now we think of honey, we usually think of the honey like you got on Rosh Hashanah, but actually it's the honey from the date. So that is how we get to the date. So that is the text from which it all comes of the 7 species. This is the framing of our Seder for this evening. First, we're going to look at the world of Asiyah, of action. And we start, if you're using different colors of wine or juice, you start with something white. And then we'll be eating foods that you can only eat the inside of. You don't eat the peels or the shells. Then we move to the world of Yetzirah, of formation, where you can mix your wines and have half white and half red, or have a wine that is a little bit, not quite as white, but getting a little bit more color to it. And we eat fruits that have pits or seeds in them that we don't eat. Then for the third world, it's the world of thought, of Bria. And this is where you would have a wine a little bit darker. If you're mixing 2 together, it would be about 3/4 of red and 1/4 white. And this is true with white and red grape juice as well. And that's when we eat fruits that are entirely edible. And the fourth world is the spirit, the world of the spirit, Atzilut. And you would have primarily red wine, maybe a drop of white, but it's red. And this is about spiritual sustenance. And so we smell things. We also can plant seeds as well. Those are the 2 ways to do that because it's not things that we eat at this time. So this gives you the overview of the different groups. And nobody's looking to see what's in your cup. So if it happens to be colorful or not, it's okay either way. So do I have someone who would like to read this text? You're going to have to speak up again because I can't see all the boxes when I'm sharing my screen. Anybody?
I'll do it.
Okay.
When the Blessed Holy One created the first human, Adam, God took and led them around all the trees of the Garden of Eden and said, "Look at my works, how beautiful and praiseworthy they are. And all that I have created, it was for you that I created it. Pay attention that you do not corrupt and destroy my world. If you corrupt it, there is no one to repair it after you."
And that's probably a text that may be familiar to some of you. Many of the other texts will be probably less familiar, but I thought that was an important one for us to consider in the world in which we are in. So as we are going to say the first blessing over the wine or grape juice, let us remember the Jewish tradition sees humans as having agency. We can impact change through our actions, and we have agency to destroy and agency to heal. So Asiya, this first area of action, we are a small seed waiting patiently to fulfill our potential and grow into a beautiful tree. Kabbalistically, the first cup is defined as Asiya, as action. It is the realm of the concrete, the physical. At this level, the greatest need is for protection, for shields and defenses. It's risky to let our defenses down, to open up, to peel off protective shells. This world is represented by fruits with an inedible outer shell and an edible inner core. As with most Jewish rituals, we begin our Tu B'Shvat Seder with a cup of wine, and the first cup we drink at the Seder is traditionally pure white. For the Kabbalist, it represents the beginning, the time when creation began with the separation of light from darkness, the first spark of divine creation. So we are going to do the full Shabbat Kiddush this time, and then the others will do Purei Pri Hagafen. So I'm going to turn things over to Jason.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila l'mikrae kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim. So as with the Passover Seder, if you have one cup and you're going to just keep changing the colors, that's fine. If you have more than one, I did different ones for each color tonight. You can drink more or less. Do I have another volunteer, someone who would read this text? And again, you'll have to unmute to let me know because I can't see everybody.
I'll read it.
Okay.
And already it happened that Rabbi Tarfon and the elders were reclining in the loft of the house of Nitziah in Lod when this question was asked of them: is study greater or is action greater? Rabbi Tarfon answered and said, action is greater. Rabbi Akiva answered and said, study is greater. Everyone answered and said, study is greater. To study brings one to action.
So if we think about it for us, when we make informed decisions and we learn about why we're doing the things, then our actions have even more significance. So we can put this into all parts of our life. So here is a blessing, and I'll invite you to read with me this blessing over fruit, over all of it, and then we'll have particular ones for different things. May it be God's will that by the power vested in the blessing and eating of these fruits, and by contemplating the secrets of their roots, by which we will receive God's blessing, charity, and abundance, may God make them grow and prosper throughout the year for goodness and blessings, for a good life and for peace. So here we have our first grouping. So I'm not sure what you all have, but you can take one of whatever you have. If you have a nut, I like pomegranates. So I'm going to take a pomegranate seed, and you can hold the first one in your hand. We're going to do both blessings because some things are from the tree and some are from the ground, depending what you have. So we'll say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'etz, and borei pri ha'adamah. And the English is, blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the tree, and creator of the fruit of the ground. And you can eat some of your fruits and nuts. Oops, I just went past what I wanted to do, I'm sorry. So I have a reading about pomegranates. Rabbi Meir found a pomegranate and he ate the fruit and he threw away the peel. This is to teach us to differentiate between the main thing and the things of secondary importance. So while you continue to eat the things you're eating, think of something that has been troubling you and try to discern the main thing that needs to be addressed and to discard the rest. So we'll have these different thought pieces along the way. We're going to take a couple times during the Seder to break into small groups to consider some of the questions or thought pieces here, but not for each one. But I thought that way we'll have a few breaks during here, and then at the end, of course, we'll be in small groups together as well. So actually, I gave Jason heads up that the next thing we're going to have is the song Hashkedia Parachat, which is about the almond tree.
I was close. I had pistachios instead of almonds today. Hashkedia porachat v'shemesh pasorachat, tziporim merosh kol gal v'mivasrot et bo hagad. Tu b'shvat higia hag ha'ilanot, tu b'shvat higia hag ha'ilanot. Hashkedia porachat v'shemesh pasorachat, tziporim merosh kol gal Mivasrot bo haikal, tu b'shvat hagia hag ha'ilanot, tu b'shvat hagia hag ha'ilanot.
Barley is one of the 7 species too, and I don't think it fits into these particular categories of the fruits, but I just have some barley here, not to eat because it's raw, but would someone like to read what we have here about barley?
I will.
Okay.
Rabbi Judah, son of Simon, commented that Boaz measured 6 measures of barley for Ruth the Moabitess, Ruth 3:15. As his reward, Boaz was privileged to have 6 righteous men as descendants, namely David, Hezekiah, Josiah, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Daniel, and the king Messiah David. What fruit of your labor would you like to leave for your descendants?
So that's the thought question for this of the 7 species. What fruit of your labor would you like to leave for your descendants? So Give a moment to pause. You can jot down any of these questions if you would like, to just give us that place to reflect. If we were sitting a small group of us around the table, we could pontificate about each one of them along the way. I'm not sure that works here as well. So we're going to keep moving then. So we are moving to the next group. See, a Seder, you're not supposed to drag it out, right? So we're moving to the second group, to Yetzirah, human creation. Our seed grows into a sapling, maturing and gaining strength, but not yet fully formed. The Kabbalists defined the world of Yetzirah, formation, as a world of inwardness, emotion, and a sense of feeling. The need for protection and reinforcement is an inner matter of the core, of the heart. This world is represented by fruits with edible outer flesh and pithy inedible cores. The second cup of wine is an even mixture of white and red. For the Kabbalists, the white represented the spark of divine holiness, and the red is the flame of life, which has begun to burn within it. So I'm going to take one moment to switch my plates. And also my cup of wine. I want you to pay attention to these questions because we're going to take a little bit of time in smaller groups to consider them before we drink our second cup. Consider, in what ways are you like a tree? What are your leaves like? Your roots? Where do you sit? Who do you sit with? As we bless this next cup, may we be reminded of our symbiotic relationship with nature and how Jewish tradition compels each of us as humans to play our unique role in stewarding the earth to keep it safe and sacred. So we raise our second cup, or we raise our cup for the second time, whichever way you're doing it. And I ask you to join me in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen l'chaim. My father used to do that fancy one, so it was a tribute to him. And of course, the English is, blessed are you, our Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. So I'm going to come back to this slide for these questions before we break into groups, but I thought before we break into groups, we should be able to be eating the food of the second group and drinking the wine. So the fruits for this group include apricots. Oh, I forgot those in the other room. I knew I forgot something. Apricots, cherries, dates, mangoes, nectarines, olives, peaches, and plums. So whatever fruit you have of this group, and I got cherries, I have a date, olive, a peach, and a plum. So whatever you may have of this group, I invite you to hold it in your hand as we do the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'etz. And these are all from fruit of the tree. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the tree. So while you're eating that, I'll go back to these questions because in just a moment, Evan is going to divide us into groups and we'll take 5-6 minutes, something like that, to talk about this. Give everyone a chance in your group to talk, and hopefully we have like 4 people in a group at least, or something like that, 3 or 4 at least, or 3 or 4 cameras. And that way you get to, everyone should be able to talk and think about, in what ways are you like a tree? What are your leaves like, your roots? Where do you sit, and who do you sit with? So those are the questions to consider. And we're going to go into groups and we'll come back together in a little bit.
I somehow managed to.
Are we in a new room?
That it was good sharing and talking with others, because we will try to take an opportunity to do that again in a little bit. But I want to continue in the Haggadah. I went back to the questions again here. So this is where we had left off. So we have a little bit more about some of these
You got muted.
my apologies. So as we look at the quotes and things are related to the 7 species, but as the sages taught, just as olive oil brings light into the world, so do the people of Israel bring light into the world. We could think about, who are you grateful for that has brought light into your world? And can think about that for a little bit. We always try to do things about who we're grateful for. And with the dates, do I have someone who else would like to read this one?
I can read it. I can read it.
Thank you.
Why is Israel compared to the date palm? There is no waste in any part of the date palm. The dates are eaten. The lulav branches are used for the halal prayer. The dried branches are used for thatch. The fibers for rope. The leaves for sieves. The planed boards for roofing. So it is with the people of Israel that none is worthless in Israel.
And the thought at the bottom, think of someone you've recently had a hard time with. What worthiness and beauty can you recognize in them? So I want to pause after each of these questions or thoughts to give you a moment to think about them. And I can put it together a collection of these thought parts if you want to have them later on. Let me know. We have 2 songs related to different of these foods, that really both to the date palm, Sadiq Tamar, and then Eretz Zavat Chalav, because a land flowing with milk and honey, the honey is from the date. I'll turn things over to Jason.
Certainly, feel free to do the dance to both of them in your seat as we sing them. Sadiq, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Ke'erev balvanom yigesh, Ke'erev balvanom yigesh, Ke'erev balvanom yigesh, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, yiskeh. Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, yiskeh. Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, Ke'erev balvanom yiskeh, yiskeh. Eretz Zavat Chalav, Chalav U'Davash, 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 Eretz Zavat Chalav, Zavat Chalav U'Davash, Eretz Zavat Chalav, Zavat Chalav U'Davash, Eretz Zavat Chalav, Zavat U'Davash, Eretz Zavat Chalav, Chalav U'Davash, Eretz Zavat Chalav, Chalav U'Davash, Eretz Zavat Chalav, Chalav U'Davash, Eretz Zavat Chalav,
I first learned Eretz Avat Chalav, I think, when I was a kid in religious school. So I learned that, I was sitting in a music class with somebody like Jason teaching music.
I first learned that song this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't tell me what you knew or you didn't know, because I wasn't meaning to learn them all, but
Israeli folk songs, they're easy to learn. They're
okay.
good
So
to dance to.
we're getting to the challah. So do I have someone who would like to read this piece about wheat?
I'll read it.
Okay.
It is said that one who sees wheat in his dream sees peace. As it is said, he grants peace to your borders and satisfies you with the finest of wheat. Rabbi Meir says that it was wheat. When a person has no knowledge, they say in a folk saying, a man has never eaten wheat bread in his life. Rabbi Yehuda says, an infant cannot say father and mother until it has tasted wheat bread. We deduce that from the moment a child eats bread, he is considered to understand. Thus, wheat symbolizes knowledge itself.
So the question is to consider, what knowledge are you grateful for? So we'll pause to think about that for a moment before we go on and get ready to have whatever bread products you have there, if you have challah or whatever else you might have, to think of the knowledge that you are grateful for. So I set up a hand washing station here so I can do the washing without leaving this area. And so we'll take a moment to do the hand washing before we then do motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. So I invite you to join me in motzi, and I'm going to, hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. I'm going to come around to the other side of this computer to be able to cut the challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Since my challah would not fit on my platter, I found some breadsticks that do have wheat in them, and so that's what I put on my platter for the 7 species, but now I'll put a little bit of challah there, the part with the raisins, because I'll let Maya have some of the rest of this, and she's been waiting very patiently. We share. I get the part with the raisins, and she gets the part without. As I said, we continue moving along here. So we now are at Bria, at the next group where we get to eat the whole items. Bria, God's creation. Our tree is fully grown, establishing deep roots and wide branches. The third world, Bria, thought, is the realm of divine energy flow in which the creation of something from nothing is possible. It is the closest of the 3 lower worlds to the 4th world of pure spirit. This world is represented by fruits that are edible throughout. We have a third cup, a little bit darker than the other ones. And the Rabbi Nachman of Breslov quote at the top is something to consider. If you believe that you have the ability to destroy, then believe that you had the ability to fix. So the questions we're going to be looking at a bit more in a few minutes are, in what ways might you believe enough in your ability to fix to start taking action? And how might you shift your perspective of your own abilities? And then if you want to get into another realm in terms of environmental work and economic justice, how might we tell a story of saving our home planet that includes reforestation efforts? So for the third cup, we have one that's more red, a little bit of white, but more red. And we make Kiddush again. Jason, if you'll lead us this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. I did not type these slides and I was not able to edit them. And so rather than writing capital G-O-D, this is a clever one, I think, with the capital G exclamation mark D for God's name. But either way, we are going to read a little bit more about grapes and about figs, which are two of the fruits in this group. Do I have a volunteer to read about grapes?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Why is Israel compared to a grapevine? Just as when its owner seeks to improve it, he uproots it and plants it elsewhere, and then indeed it flourishes similarly. When God intended to make Israel's fame known throughout the, got to get rid of these pictures.
No, you didn't.
Throughout the world, what did he do? He uprooted them from Egypt, brought them into the wilderness, where they began to improve. They received the Torah, and their reputation spread throughout the world. What in your life could be uprooted and changed in order to improve upon it?
So another thought question, what in your life could be uprooted and changed in order to improve upon it? Do I have another volunteer to read about figs?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Rabbi Yohanan said, "What is the meaning of he who tends a fig tree will eat its fruit? Why is the Torah compared to a fruit tree? Figs on a tree do not ripen all at once, but a little each day. Therefore, the longer one searches in the tree, the more figs he finds. So too with Torah, the more one studies, the more knowledge and wisdom one finds."
So consider the question, who has displayed patience and persistence with you for which you are grateful? So some of the things are reflective inside of ourselves, and some of them are about acknowledging others around us in these questions about these different of this Shivat Minim of the 7 species. We now take a fruit, which is one we can eat all of it. And I have figs, strawberries, grapes, and blueberries. So you take a fruit and we'll say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'etz. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the tree. Things are pretty chewy, but what I would like to do is have us go into groups again with these questions. In what ways might you believe enough in your ability to fix to start taking action? And how might you shift your perspective on your own abilities? And then we can also look at those from the next page, whatever you prefer. What in your life could be uprooted and changed in order to improve upon it? And also, who's displayed patience and persistence with you for which you are grateful? Any of those, and we're going to go into small groups again and then come back together. Are these small groups okay in length? Do you want more time in them? It's okay, so you get to do a little bit. Because at the end, the last one, we will not have it as time limited, so you can just hang out there for a while longer. And well, I'll ask a couple questions, but it's not as focused. The idea is,
What are the people on Facebook doing when we're breaking into groups?
I'm not sure what they're doing. I think they're just sort of hanging out and waiting. I'm not sure. I didn't arrange for how to put the questions there. I mean, I asked the questions and they were on the screen. So if people wanted to consider that, for those on Facebook, I'm sorry I didn't think of how to make that as workable for them. So for those of you on Facebook, I'm sorry, but you're always welcome to come join us here on Zoom, where you can be in groups with other people for that part. So do the best we can sometimes, but thank you for bringing that point up for the future. I'm going to share my screen as we continue again. So as we have, one moment. So we have eaten these foods. We now have a meditation on spiritual grounding. This was written by Rabbi Arthur Waskow in 2003. But if you turn away, chop the world into parts, and choose parts to worship, gods of race or of nation, gods of wealth and of power, gods of greed and addiction, if you do and you make and produce without pause, if you do without being, then the rain will not fall or will turn to sharp acid. The rivers won't run or flood homes and cities. The heavens themselves will take arms against you. The ozone will fail you. The oil that you burn will scorch your whole planet. And from the good earth that the breath of life gives you, you will vanish. Yes, perish. So on the edge of yourself, take care to weave fringes, threads of connection. So you end not with sharpness, a fence or a wall, but with sacred mixing of cloth and of air, a fringe that is fuzzy, part yours and part God's. They bind us together, make one from our oneness. Good fringes, good neighbors, deep mirrors, true seeing, time loving, right action, the infinite one. You're used to Birkat Hamazon, if we ever do the blessing after the meal, being a very long thing. This text, which is actually, it says Hebrew here, it's really Aramaic from the Babylonian Talmud. The letters are Hebrew, but when you see words ending in aleph instead of hey, that gives you a hint that it's Aramaic. So I will say it in the Hebrew letters, and then we'll say together in the English letters, this blessing for thankfulness for the bounty from which we have tasted and that we enjoy in our world. Barich Rachamana Malka D'Alma B'rei D'Chai Pita. And together, you are the source of life for all that is, and your blessings flow through me. So actually, halachically, you can just say this text and you have fulfilled the obligation, as we blessed food before we ate it, to offer thanks afterwards as well. We're going to continue with our prayer for the sick, and I will ask you to unmute to add names to the prayer list this evening. And if you're going to put them in the chat, I'm going to ask for Evan to read them when I pause, and then we will sing the Misha Berach prayer together. Oh God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain, and we join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. And tonight we read the names of Fran Aptekin, Alyssa Ball, Shirley Berger, Alan Burke, Charles Bonnet, Chuck Bischoff, James E. Bischoff, Rona Bluestein, Frank Burla, Rhonda Dunn, Robert Eisen, Monica Fernandez, Sandy Foreman, Stephen Friedman, Carol Gage, Andrea Hankey, Alicia Harris, Jay Harris, Jeff Korn, Alan Krupachinski, Mattia Latessa, Charlene Lichtenstein, Rick Mackey, Rob Newberger, Joyce Perry, Deborah Pomeroy, Patricia Reynolds, Samuel Woodquist, Gail Sizak, Connor Stanton, Craig Stout, Josh Swanger, George Turner, Marilyn Turner, Don Vanderbrook, Kevin Warner, Rhonda Waxman, Al Weiner, Elena Witter, Noah Wolkowitz, Brian Zabel, Debbie Zabataki. Other names you'd like to add to the list?
Maura Shervan,
Mary Jo Bear, Chris Marie Baselli, Dave Donaldson.
Dizon family, Curtis Ogata, and the Sukathabong family in Hawaii.
Amy Barnes,
And are there any that have been added in the chat or added on Facebook?
Marjorie Adelson and Ruby Esther.
Thank you.
Aaron Bidwell Kaplan.
Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked with theirs. Baruch atah Adonai Rafeh HaCholim, we praise you, God, the source of healing and health, as together we sing.
Mishabirach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracham Leimoteinu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishabirach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracham Leavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleimah, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We move to the fourth group, to Atzilut and synthesis. Our mature tree is now producing fruit, producing seeds for future generations. We have arrived at the final level on our journey, the world of Atzilut, of spirit. For the Kabbalists, this level of pure spirituality is the highest rung on the ladder of creation. We all have a relationship to the physical and to the intangible. The fourth world is about our highest selves, when we are not eating and when we are not thinking of our bodies, when we have all the tools to bring in pure holiness in each moment. The Talmud teaches in Pesachim 54a that 7 things were created in the spiritual world before the physical world. Teshuvah, the desire to be good, to grow, and to be better was one of them. This teaches us that teshuvah is fundamental to Earth's existence. It was a prerequisite for life on this planet. And as we raise this next glass in just a moment, we're going to consider the environmental teshuvah needed on this Rosh Hashanah for the trees. In case you want to learn more about the possibilities of what can be done at this time, I am offering a class on Tu B'Shvat on Wednesday evening related to the land, but there is an event starting on the 24th going through the 31st called I think it's the Great Big, anyway, it's the Jewish Climate Fest, but it's a big one. There are like 150 different sessions. You can go on and I will put the website in the chat in a little bit, but you can go and check it out, and you can choose, it's free, go to any of the sessions you want to, on quite a number of topics presented by many different Jewish environmental groups. They are at all times of day. Look at which time zone the times are in, because some are different ones, but it can offer you a great deal of information. Also ways to connect more spiritually as well with things around us and nature. So we continue now with our darkest cup of wine or juice. And I invite you to raise your glass. And we continue together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine, l'chaim. The fourth fruit is either something that we smell, or it can be seeds that we plant. So I don't know if anyone has seeds tonight that you're going to plant. I couldn't find any seeds. I thought I had some and I could not find them today. So I have things to smell and the fragrance to enjoy. So the Kabbalists define the fourth world as that of the spirit. So it has no symbolic food, only what sustains us spiritually. So rather than eating a symbolic fruit, we pause to appreciate its smell. A pleasant fragrance can restore our spirit, even when not eating. For example, on Yom Kippur, some make blessings over pleasant fragrances to make up for the lack of blessings one would usually say throughout the day on food. So depending what you have for your fragrance that you're going to be smelling, we have different blessings for them. So I have an etrog, which is the fruit of a tree. And this is a spice box that was in my parents' house that has cinnamon and cloves and other things of that sort in it as well. I'm not sure what some of you may have, but we will include all of the blessings here as we enjoy the fragrance of these different items together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanotein reach tov bepeirot. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who gives a pleasant smell to fruit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei eitzei v'samim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates fragrant trees. And Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei isvei v'samim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates fragrant herbs. So we can take a few moments to savor the fragrance of the different items. And what I usually have done is put out on the table if we're all together some of the etrogim from other years. So this is my etrog from this year. It's still the same color, just a little bit smaller. It's been out in a box, and I think Carol has one that was in the freezer. So Carol, if you hold yours up, Carol hers, and if we can see her for a moment, you will see that hers is a little bit It's probably similar size, but it's a little browner, right?
It's the size of a pear.
Yeah. So it's actually bigger than mine at this point, but it's been in the freezer, and so it has the same fragrance. And if you have one from a bunch of years before, you can just scrape it with your fingernail and still smell the etrog. So the smell continues with us for a great length of time to enjoy and savor. So is anybody planting seeds? Okay, so I had a song for planting seeds. We're going to talk about planting, because the other thing you can do is if you plant parsley seeds around now, you'll have parsley for your Passover Seder that you can grow in your own house. So it's about the right time frame. And so you can, of course, here we can only grow things inside. In Israel, they really can start planting outside, planting trees and things now. It's still winter, but it's not like it is here. So when it doesn't make sense to us why we're doing these things now, it's because we're in a different part of the world, and our climate, of course, is quite different. So this is a text of which it may be familiar to many of you from Pirkei Avot. Rabbi Tarfon says, "It is not upon you to finish the work, but neither are you free to desist from it." So as there's a great deal to be done in this area of caring for our environment and the world around us and about climate change, when we work together, we can do things we cannot do alone. So this text is a great one for us. And of course, it's been put to music, and we've sung it before, and Jason's going to lead us in it. So the Hebrew is here, not the Rabbi Tarfon Omer, but the rest of it. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben charin or bat charin, depending who you are, I'm bat charin, lehibatel mimenu. So mimena, but Hebrew has genders. So v'lo ata ben charin, v'lo ata bat charin, and what people are doing who are not of one gender, they may say the plural of b'nei harim, which covers for both. So you can change that word as you like. Jason is going to lead us.
Lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, velo ata ben chori leibatel mimena, velo ata ben chorin, velo ata ben chorin lehibatel mimena, velo ata ben chorin, lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor, lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo alecha ligmor.
Do I have someone who'd like to read what Shimon, Rabban Gamliel's son, said? Different voice, maybe?
We can do
I'll
it.
read.
Okay.
Shimon Rabban Gamliel's son says, "All my days I grew up among the sages, and I did not find anything good for the body except silence. And the exposition of Torah is not essential, but the action. And whoever increases words brings sin."
So it's a different text you might not have looked at before, but there are times for silence. And while we can go over and over about Torah, the action and the learning from the action, it takes us back to the action. So we can increase our words if it's to lead us to action. We have a blessing that I'll invite you all to say with me. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of many forms of life and their needs, for all that you have created to sustain life in all that lives. Blessed be the one who gives life to the worlds. We're going to do this responsively. Who would like to be the other voice, alternating with me for all of you?
We can
Jody,
do
are
it.
you? Oh, okay, we got a we there. Okay, so I will start and we will be alternating. There's this yearning to root deep down, for beneath where frost fingers can penetrate.
Safe from winter's howl down from the north, the third storm front this week, another red alert.
Shelter in place, brace for the squall and wait. The soil is eternally spring, nutrients of last year's
Garden detritus, composted and fertile, like our ancestors who came tempest-tossed to this soil.
from bloodied shores, their futures ejected and transplanted. Like attracts like, they came to this
Land of the Wappinger, the Algonquin, the Mohican, all travelers who once rooted deep, now mostly gone.
only the trees fully remember, standing tall and watchful. Their roots even deeper in yesterday's soil, speaking to
Each other, a wood wide web beneath our restless feet, and speaking to us too, if only we might stop and listen.
So this is one of the texts that was written especially this year. Clearly there are parts of it. Try to say wood wide web a few times because of course we think of World Wide Web, right? So we continue with a piece about the revival of the tree. Do I have a volunteer who would like to read this?
I could read it.
I heard two voices and I'm not sure. I don't know who was the woman's voice I heard. I heard Alan Alt, I think, and I'm not sure who the woman's voice was.
Oh, that was Aviva.
Okay, Viva, why don't you do this one, and Alan, I'll have you do another one.
Fine, very good.
Okay. The revival of the tree. The revival of the tree is not rooted in its branches or leaves or glorious fruit, but rather in its roots, which are strengthened in a place where winds and storms cannot reach. The roots get stronger from the source of living waters of renewal. The tree is not concerned when storms catch it, shake it, bend it. It does not move from its place, and as long as it is not uprooted, it will have a revival. Therefore, we see the tree has not lost anything. All the more so, it has renewed strength from the struggle. So is the human being. As long as a person holds on to his spiritual roots, no wind shall uproot him or her from his or her place. On the contrary, the storms will wake up the power of renewal.
Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch wrote this I think he was in the 1800s. So he didn't know about the he and she and the more inclusive language yet. And these were his words. So the question to consider, what are your roots that are strong and keep you grounded? And how can you express gratitude for them? I liked this when I saw this not too long ago. In many ways, be like a tree, stay grounded, connect with your roots, turn over a new leaf, bend before you break, enjoy your unique beauty, keep growing, know your strengths. Okay, Alan Alt, if you would read this one, please.
Rabbi Nachman bar Yitzchak said, why was the Torah compared to a tree? As it says, for it is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it. Proverbs 3:18, to teach you that just as a small tree may set a larger tree on fire, So too is it with scholars, where the small sharpen the large. After all, Rabbi Hanina said, I have learned much from my teachers and more from my friends, but from my students more than anyone.
Sometimes we look at particular texts like the text from Proverbs, it is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. This is a different way of looking at the text. Small trees may be as important or more important sometimes than a larger one, about learning from everyone and just being opening up to all these possibilities. So hopefully this again will give us some food for thought. Any of these we could discuss at length, but that isn't what we're going to do this evening. But we do, I'm sorry, I skipped. We do have some songs related to this, but I may have it in a different place. Individual choice, while it may feel small, has an impact. We are Adam, human, created as one with Adamah, with earth. It is the essence of who we are. May we find our own agency and our utility, and together may we partake in environmental teshuvah. Let us return to our best and truest selves. Let us cultivate a deeper understanding that we are a part of the natural world, and let us step back into our role as part of a symbiotic relationship with the world. And let us plant a seed. We're going to sing Tree of Life song, and the Hebrew is Eitz Chaim Hi L'Machazikim Ba, which we sing in the Torah service. And I'm going to turn it over to Jason because I thought I had a slide for it, and apparently the slide did not make it into my deck for tonight.
It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. It's I am Pila Machazikim Manatomeha Meushar. It's I am Pila Machazikim Manatomeha Meushar. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Before we started this Seder and people were saying, I don't know much about Tu B'Shvat, what I remember is we used to collect money and plant trees when we were kids in religious school. And depending when that was, depended about how much you had to bring in each week to do that, because it got more expensive over the course of time. But when we did that, we had trees planted in Israel, and they were very small saplings. For those if you've gone to Israel and planted trees, you know they're very little when we plant them. So Debbie Friedman wrote a song about planting and trees, and it's a lighter song, but I think to me, along with the almond tree song and some of the others, this is another one that is part of the holiday. So even if we're not planting here, if you're planting later, or if some of you on Facebook are planting, we're going to sing the planting song.
Let's dig a hole. Let's dig a hole and plant a seed. Let's water it, oh, let's water it, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. This is way too low. We're all gonna be crying by the time we're done. Look at the sprouts. Look at the sprouts, they're coming up. Let's water them, oh, let's water them, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Look at the leaves. Look at the leaves, they're growing now. Let's water them, oh, let's water them, cause it is Tu B'Shvat. so much taller now. Let's water it, oh, let's water it, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Just look at me. Just look at me, I'm taller now. Don't water me, please don't water me, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Whoosh. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind.
Before we continue with the Mortar's Kaddish, I'd like to read the introduction, and I'd like to read the names of those we are especially thinking about this evening. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. Tonight, we read the names of two who died during the past month. Richard Krashansky, son of Linda Krashansky, and Howard Engel, father of Iris Engel and Margaret Campbell, Carol Mason, and James, grandfather of Rebecca Mason, Jacob Mason, Aileen, and Dr. Matthew Mason and Colleen. And we read the names of the following people whose yahrzeits occur at this time: Abe Abrams, Rose Bronsky, Manuel Davis, Romaine Eisenstadt, Harold Greenstein, Richard Hammer, Murray Horner, Bertha Friedman Katzen, Bella M. Kaufman, Samuel Levine, Morris Podolin, Francis Wallach, Sylvia Wolkoff, and Michael Zabataki. I invite you all to unmute as together we will recite the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Eat Gadal, Eat Kadash, Rabba, Bialma, Dibra, Pirute, Amlich Malchute, Echon, Yomechon, Chaye Tachol, Beit Yisrael, Bakala Ulisman Karib, Imaru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach, Le'olam Omeil Maya, Ish Barach, Ish Tavach, Ish Pa'ar, V'Traman, V'Tnaseh, Ish Hadar, V'Taleh, V'Talal, Shmei Dekudashah, Barichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran v'alma v'imaru, amen. Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, Chaim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imaru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imaru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And together we say, amen.
Amen.
This text about those who sow in tears will reap in joy is one that has been put to music, and we have heard it before, and Jason is going to sing it for us tonight.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
Our closing song tonight will be Adama. And before we have our closing song, I want to remind you of some of the things coming up. Tomorrow morning, there will be Torah study at 9:15, and tomorrow evening, Havdalah with the bonus. Sunday morning at 11, Rabbi Rachel Esterman will be doing her annual book talk for Sisterhood. It's at 11 o'clock. Everyone can join. On Wednesday evening at 7, I'll be doing a program on Jewish values and public land using material from COJAL, which is the Coalition for I don't remember the exact initials, but it's about the environment and Jewish life. It's an organization that's been around for many years. Debbie Friedman's yahrzeit was 10 years this month, depending if you count it on the Jewish calendar or the American calendar, depends which side of it we are. So this week on Thursday evening, Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion is offering a special commemoration of her legacy, and you can register for that, and that is in the happenings. And next Friday evening, next weekend is Shabbat Shirah, because Song of the Sea is part of the Torah portion, so it's the Shabbat of Song. And we will be joining with Cantor Ellen Dreskin, as we did during Hanukkah, for a service with other smaller congregations in the country as well. And we will be celebrating Jewish music Shabbat, and the song session at the end will be all with different Debbie Friedman music. So if you like Debbie Friedman music, this is the time to be able to hear a lot of it, sing along as we all can at this point with everything, and no one else knows how our voices sound or not, but we can enjoy it together. On the 31st, we're offering a nature walk in, you can get more information from contacting us. Barbara Thomas will be sending out detailed information as long as the weather is good, and we will probably be at Chenango State Park, but it depends on weather conditions and all of that as to the location. But there are people signed up. We will be hiking, and she's looking at who's signed up to be able to plan what will be the appropriate kind of hike to be doing. We did include blessings for receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. For those of you who have appointments and will be using it, please keep it there, and we will have to keep it in a good place because some people won't be getting theirs till the summer, so this will be a long process. The American Values Religious Voices 100 Days, 100 Letters has begun. You can sign up to get it to your inbox. You can go, there are 2 places in here where you can go to just see them on, I don't know, is Instagram, the @Values and Voices, or you can go to the Facebook American Values Religious Voices and read all of them. They will be coming for 100 days. International Holocaust Remembrance Day is also this week. The 27th is the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. And so that's how the United Nations declared this date to be Holocaust Remembrance Day. We observe Yom HaShoah, which was declared by the Knesset. And so we do it in the spring after Pesach, a little more tied to the time of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. So you can go online with the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, and they will be having a commemoration at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But there is also another program that they are having, which is in our materials as well, dealing with Eisenhower's actions to decide to preserve what people saw, having many, many people go through the camps to see it with their own eyes, but also the photographs so that people could not deny that it happened. So both of those are happening on the 27th. So please join us for all of these different programs. Chow can always use donations. I think we had 6 families who were referred to us last night alone. So the needs do not go away, and will be continuing. So our closing song is Adama. And I don't think I know the song, but everybody loves it. And Jason said he knows it well. So we will learn it and sing it a little bit. And then I invite you to stay around so we can go into small groups again to hang out together, to schmooze, or the questions I would ask you to consider are ones that we saw in some of the material about trees. What are your roots that are strong and keep you grounded? And how can you express gratitude for your roots? So we usually always do something about gratitude on Shabbat together, and I offer those as things to consider. Adama.
If we're unfamiliar with the song, it begins with a nigun, as most do, to help us learn the melody. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Adama v'shamayim, chom ha'esh, tzil ha'mayim, anim kisot v'gufi, beruchi b'nishmati. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Love the earth, love the sky, heat of fire, drop of water. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Adama v'shamayim, chom ha'esh, tzil ha'mayim, ani margish zot begufi, beruchi b'nishmati. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho.
Is good dancing music. I think we had some dancing going on at some houses. So I did know it, but I didn't know I knew it. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm going to put the service down. Wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. We can wish one another Shabbat Shalom. A good week. Stay warm, but we made warmth inside, even if it's cold outside. And none of us have to go out in the cold to go home tonight because we're already home. So I wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. And to those of you on Facebook,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
come back with us tomorrow night for Havdalah on Facebook, and the rest of us will stay here together.